Goodness, what a morning. I wanted to create this video for ages, but then this happened and then that happened, and now I actually have lost my train of thought. I don't know what there's now so many things that I want to say that I'm actually a little bit flustered. So I am packing up my little nest. The tennis is finished. So I am moving back to my art studio, my workspace on top there. So I am cleaning up, a little bit sorting out, and now I need to take all of my art supplies because I took everything down here while I was watching tennis. This is my couch and my TV room. So I brought everything here and now I need to pack it up, clean a little bit, sort out. That's always an awesome thing. And then move up again. But what I actually want to show you before I start packing up is the art that I've created while I was sitting here and enjoying my tennis. So once again, you can do art anywhere and you can use anything to create art. So the last couple of artworks, I really went the route where I didn't plan. I didn't have any reference photos. I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do. All I did was just start. So this is also new to me. Previously, this was very, very difficult. I always had a reference photo because my thing is I can kind of very easily copy something. I'm now not talking about a face or something, but a painting or, something. I could do that quite easily, but it was very difficult for me to create my own things by just following my heart, intuition, heart, go with the flow, as I always say. It was difficult. It didn't come easy. So the last couple of weeks, actually, I've moved into this area and I am absolutely loving it. Now, I'm going to put this thing a little bit closer. And, I'm also wearing my dress that I created a couple of weeks back. I just felt, I really feel like dressing up. Dressing up to me is just put a dress on. So this is kind of a new dress. It's white. It makes me feel glad to be alive this morning, or call it that. So as I was actually just thinking about this intuitive art, this just going with the flow, someone on my YouTube channel, a friend on my YouTube channel, after watching some of these going with the flow videos, how I create art just by going with the flow, she wrote the following, and I really would just love to share it with you because this is what art is all about. This is why we need to create. So she wrote, I want to create like you, Zetster, she said. I think it will release a lot of accumulative garbage of the past. Our past, things that happen, it accumulates and it really stifle the life in us. And I want the freedom to become me. Isn't it awesome? I want the freedom to become me. Isn't that what we all want? Deep down there's a me. And we just want to get to that place where we become me, who we really are. And then she wrote a sad thing, a bit late in life, because she's also our age, a little bit older, but who's counting? And then when I read this, I just wanted to say to her, it's never too late. Life happens now. You are here. Life is a journey. It's a stepping stone after another. We go through stuff. We accumulate garbage. And then there comes time when we need to let go of that garbage and let go of stuff. And the time is now. The time is always now, because the life in us, we are spiritual beings, and the spirit in us, the life in us is flowing now, always now. So that's why we can always say, now all my needs are met, because the spirit in us, what we need in this moment, we have via the spirit that's moving in and through us. All wisdom, all power, all love, whatever we may need is the life in us. So it's never too late. Life is now. We the human, put time to life. But life is spirit. There's no time in spirit. So your time is always now. And now is always the right time. She didn't get onto my channel by chance. It's her time to learn through me at this time, or whatever she needs to become free. I want the freedom to become me. And that is what she is now experiencing through this channel. Nothing to do with me. It's actually just the life in me, the life in her that has just brought us together at this time. Isn't it awesome? So the time is always now. Now is always the right time to become more you. The time is now. Isn't it awesome? It's never too late. It can never be too late, because all that we will ever have is now. And her desire is the freedom to become me. I mean her, And for that, the time is now. Isn't it awesome? So whatever you need, the time is now. The spirit in you, the life in you that's also in me, is leading us, guiding us to exactly what we need to watch, where we need to go, in order to become more of who you really are. The freedom to become me, she said. Isn't that amazing? So this is what art is about. Art sets us free. Art helps us to become more me. And this is what I am experiencing. I read something, and I'm so sad I didn't write it down, because I don't know why, but it's something is, the more freer we become, the more freer our art becomes. Isn't that awesome? The more, not abstract, but the more free. And that is what I am experiencing. My art was always very tight, because I felt very tight and insecure inside. Not about art, but about my life. Because art is just a reflection of what is inside of you. But mine was never that. Oh, it was actually because my artwork works with tight. You will understand what I mean. And I am only now learning to become more free. So yesterday I was once again sitting here. I'm going to show you a couple of these artworks that I did over the last couple of days. So intuitive art, it was so awesome. Yesterday, the previous day, I got this. I need to write all of these things down in my little sketchbook because everything is on my phone, and I take the video also from my phone. But before I just listen to this. What is a sketchbook? That's why if you don't have a sketchbook, get a sketchbook. It is the most wonderful thing. Why? A sketchbook freezes time. It is an instantaneous form of meditation. The moment you go and sit and start to draw or play in your sketchbook, it's instantaneous form of meditation, because meditation to me is still your mind, get into the moment and just be. Like my friend said previously, she just wants the freedom to be. Art gives you that because it stills your mind from all the garbage your mind has accumulated. Isn't it awesome? Focusing us on the worth of every passing moment. So art, and more so a sketchbook, because a sketchbook, there's no preconceived ideas. It doesn't have to be beautiful. You're not gonna show it to anybody if you don't want to. It's just being in the moment. It's a method to just be in the moment at any given time. So a sketchbook freezes time. It is an instantaneous form of meditation, focusing us on the worth of every moment. The worth of every moment. This is my moment. This is my life, because the life in me is flowing in this moment, and we experience that very easily while we create, because it stills our minds from the garbage our minds has accumulated. We need to let that go. So I had this piece in mind when I created this artwork. I would like to spend the rest of my days in a place so silent and working at a pace so slow that I would be able to hear myself living. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? I will write it down below this video so that you can write it in your sketchbook and make it your own also. Listen to it again, and now I'll rephrase it. I would like to spend the rest of my days in a place so silent. That means a place where your mind is silent from all the garbage it's accumulated in the past and all your fears of the future. Those are all accumulated in your mind. So when you want to find that place where you want to spend the rest of your days, where a place that is so silent, you got it still your mind. And working at a pace so slow. You know, I'm learning that. I was previously, when I was, let's say, washing dishes, I wasn't thinking about washing dishes, what I was doing. I wasn't in the moment. I was somewhere else, somewhere either in the future or somewhere in the past. So I missed the moment. I missed the flow and the movement and the wisdom and everything of the life in me the small, still voice of the life in me, because my mind was running around in the past and the future. So I am learning to be more present in this moment, because all we have, always will have, is this moment. That I would be able to hear myself living. How do you hear yourself living? It's when you hear and are one with the life in you. And that life is also in all over, and is also the life in me is the life in you, is the life in the dark, it's the life in the wind and the trees. It's the life, it's life. And I can only hear myself living, I can only hear the life in me when my mind is still. And this is what art does to me. So I had that, and I wanted to create a painting around that truth, because it touched me so deeply. And the most funny thing is, it was so funny. So I had my huge mountain of papers and jelly plate prints and stuff, and I was going through them, and all of a sudden there was this little piece of paper. Man, really, it was that big, a long piece. You can't see it now. And I just got this urge to glue that piece onto a blank page. It was so funny. Why? There wasn't something written on it specifically. I think it was tore, so it was just a torn piece of paper. And I just felt the urge to glue that on. No idea of what is coming. Absolutely no. I just had the urge to glue that ridiculous small, insignificant piece of paper onto here. So I did that. And then I saw more papers and I just glued them, and that's how this started. Absolutely no idea. I just stilled my mind and just started to focus on what I was doing. And then it came. Just all you have to do in that moment, just glue this piece of paper on. That's what you need to do now. So I did that, and that led to this. So once again, I had all my art supplies here. So it actually became a very, very, what do you call that art? Mixed media art thing. So I glued lots of papers. Then I threw lots of water and ink on. Then I remember, I forgot the bleach with my ink. So I add lots of bleach. That's why those yellow pieces is bleach. That bleached the ink. And then I took my palette knife and some acrylic paints, and I just made the flowers, the oranges and the greens. And I added some chalk, and I don't know what I added. It was absolutely crazy. There you can see a music sheet I put on there. This piece was just another piece of paper, acrylic, my jelly plate things. And then I just started to make leaves in orange, and then in green, and then later and then I wrote that also somewhere in the beginning of this thing. I wrote that and I worked around it, and then I put two people on two carrot peoples. I mean, anybody can do a carrot people, and voila. And this emerged. That's why I say you got to stop thinking. You just got to do, even if it feels totally crazy, like my little piece of paper, just gluing it on. But that was just the first step. And remember, your whole life is stepping stone, step by step. Sometimes during this, it looked terrible, a massive mess. So even my friend that said, it's too late for her in life. No, the next stepping stone, the next stepping stone, the next thing you did, and at the end, this is your life, an absolutely gorgeous life, because you needed to go through everything in order to become who you are right now. Isn't it awesome? Nothing was not necessary. We don't understand it, but growth, you need the ground, you need to be buried into the ground. You need manure, you need to feel like death, like you've been buried at times. But that's where the new you comes forth. So nothing was for nothing. You wouldn't be where you are right now. I wouldn't be me if I didn't go through all my different things I had to go through in the past. And some was very, very sore and tough and crazy. But now when I look back, I see, oh my goodness, my most growth and freedom, becoming free, came when I came to the end of myself, where I just could let go of all the garbage and just got hold of the life in me, calling out to the life to do what needs to be done in me to become free. And this one, yesterday I was once again just sitting here, and I was just starting to, I don't know how this one started, but I was starting to write things on the paper. And then I was looking at my table there, my piano, and I saw the Amarillo bulb starting to bloom. My last Amarillos, that is the last of my lot. You can see they're also not very high. I'll show you now. And I started drawing them, and I used lots of pastels, oil pastels. You can see the white circles there is pastels that you put on, because when you put the pastel on the paper and then you take the ink, it makes the lines, because the ink doesn't go where the pastels are, if you understand what I mean. So I think I also started the flowers by just being pastels, white pastel and blah blah blah, but at the end it became red and whatever, and so once again this one just became what it is. And if I can, you can. Anybody can do this. You just need to start. You just need to go and sit. You just need to still your mind and stop thinking and just start to do what you feel like doing, even if it's just coloring in the whole page, or make some marks, or throw some paint or whatever. But this is how it develops, and it's the same with your life. Isn't it awesome? So I've learned so much these last, I think, 2 weeks while I was watching the Australian Tennis Open. Take note. I've learned, remember how I started with this book many moons ago with the same reference photo, and how I used all my things, all my art supplies, used this same reference photo, and just learned through that. It was awesome. Okay, there you can see it's still wet. So this I haven't done anything yet. It was just a jelly plate print. That was just charcoal. This was actually my pens. Remember my Koki pens. This was my acrylics. Then I found, that was the end of my experiment, but then I found my love for gluing. And that was just a collage. Same photo, just put a woman in front, and that is, through that, my next step was collaging. So you see how things unfold. Then my love for flowers, that's my big love, and I just did that. I saw a picture, and I just used that as a reference photo to do the collage. The same with this one. And this was also a photo that I saw, and I just used lots of jelly plate collages, and then I added some acrylics, and then actually some oil pastels. Through this, I've also learned, you see, everything is a stepping stone. I've learned the joy of using oil pastels on acrylics. They work fantastic. So this was really my first intuitive one, where I just started off not knowing where I'm going. And that woman emerged. And then it was, oh, look, you haven't seen this yet. Look closely, there's a man there. So I was actually thinking, I was just playing. Acrylics, lots of inks, glue, some papers, and then I thought, but I see a person coming out there. And then at the end it became a man. I was actually trying for a woman, but who cares? This is another one I just did intuitively. There you can see I went back actually to what I've learned previously, where I dipped my lavenders into ink and then pressed them. Remember the clothes, the dress that I made on my linen. So there's my flower once again, my jelly plates that I tore up, and jelly plate prints. This is a jelly plate print also. I think that was exactly what I did with my Amarillo bulb. I pressed it into paint and then rolled it onto paper. So you see, oh, and look at this. That was also, that just felt like doing some trees. And I used my inks and my bleach, and then that was just a jelly plate print that I cut out the people and I just glued them on. Oh my goodness, you see, I was very, very, very busy these last 2 weeks. This is a photo I took of where we walk. It's our river and my favorite dilapidated jetty. So I started off once again intuitively, just felt like, oh, I want to do the beach, the sea. I did it, and then when I looked through my Instagram photos, I saw a photo of this scene. I thought, oh, but that's going to work fantastic. So I add the jetty and the building. That's very, you can see. So on my Instagram page, Zetster's Lab, I think you will find all my photos, all my stories. I told you about this in another video. Once again, very intuitive. And now this one. And my last one. So thank you that I can share my journey. I wanted to finish this up because that's also me. I want to finish this up before I take all my things up, because this was a different season in my life. And then I also realized the joy of creating. Use what you have to create what you love. Once again, use whatever art supplies you have and just go for it. That's what I was doing here. I was sitting with all my art supplies. I mean, this is my huge bag of acrylic paints. I had to bring that down. This is my, I think I bought this at a China shop for next to nothing. This is my Koki pens, we call it. I don't know if you call it Sharpies or something. So I've got that. Then I've got my gouache, gouache, I don't know, that watercolor things. There's a little bit between a watercolor and acrylic. They are here, my oil pastels, my soft pastels, my watercolors, and my ink, and my jig. So that is it. And pencils and pens, and I just sit. That's what I've learned. Just sit between all your things. Between all your riches, because one of you also wrote to me, she went to a garage sale and bought so many things, and she was so excited, so many art things. Hubby went to town, he's back, and how she's enjoying all her new art supplies. You feel rich, and so sit between all your art supplies and just just relax, just enjoy, and just see where it goes, where it takes you. And sometimes really not beautiful things will come out, but it will be meaningful. Isn't that what art is all about? It will show you what you need to deal with, what is inside you, what needs to come out in order for you to find you. That's what it's all about. Find you, the you that you were when you actually came into this realm. So my first rule in art is always become like a child again. Let go of all your preconceived ideas and just create. Just be, just play. Love you lots. Is it from Zetster's Lab.